Now, interestingly, many of the biggest companies in the United States and the UK apparently were actually started during the Great Depression in the 1930s. And it's quite obvious why that is the case in terms of, obviously at that time, many competitors were falling by the wayside. And what happened is those companies were able to, buy, whether it was cheap real estate or wages were lower or whatever, but they were able to take advantage of that situation and actually come up much more quickly than when the economy is booming and everyone's doing well. And what's interesting is, you see this during times like now with this virus, but also when it comes to things like the economic crisis, which obviously was much more severe 12 years ago. Last month, I actually reinvested back into my business more than I ever have. And I always think that one of the key mistakes people make is always delaying doing things. I'm not saying that people should wait for those great opportunities to invest in markets when it's cheaper. And I'm certainly not suggesting that you shouldn't invest back into your own business when times are good. Of course, consistency is important. Reinvesting back into yourself, your own business, your own investments is always good. But I do think that when, as Warren Buffett says, there's blood on the streets, when people are retrenching, when competitors are afraid, when people are afraid, that's a great chance if your company's in a good position to actually hit the accelerator button. Same thing when it comes to your personal investments. If you've been lucky enough in the last few days or weeks or months to have, say, a big bonus, or you're liquid for whatever reason, of course, it's a great time to invest. Well, now's the best time always to invest if you're long term. As I've said, market timing doesn't work. But I think really watching fear and controlling fear is really important, both in business and your investing life and in general, right? Because fear, as I've said many times, is a much stronger emotion than greed, or indeed is probably one of the strongest human emotions, right? Even compared to lust or envy. I would say fear is probably the strongest human emotion, or definitely inside the top 3 or 4, along with something like hate. So controlling fear in your business life and indeed investing life is one of the keys to success. If you have person 1 who is very technically gifted, person 2 is a bit less technically gifted, but person 2 knows how to control their emotions, including fear. Person 2 is likely to win long term compared to person A. That doesn't mean you shouldn't ever fear, so to speak, right? As I said in another video, 2 or 3 videos ago, of course, risk management is important. Diversifying your assets, diversifying the countries you're selling to if you have a private business. But that's different to fear. That's more risk, risk management, or trying to just prepare just in case something happens. But in general, you need to get quite a good balance. You need to take risks, but take calculated risks. And fear is not really usually a rational emotion, and these kind of things pass over anyway. So I would say if you have your own private business right now, or indeed you have private investments, now is an even better time than usual to really hit the accelerator, because a lot of people aren't doing that, and that gives you a huge advantage over your competition.